that's good. We'll do with that. Okay, now we're recording, and you will get the video tomorrow as well. So you'll have all of this. All right, so the Italian sausage. I've already taken mine out of the casings. What's my favorite Italian sausage?
You like Trader Joe's?
Yep.
Italian sausage?
I love Trader Joe's mild Italian chicken sausage. It's super flavorful. I use it in so many things. Actually, when this all started happening, they didn't have any chicken sausage at Trader Joe's, and I didn't have any on hand. And I panicked over that more than I did toilet paper. So here's our sausages done. All right, next is our red pepper. So here's our red pepper. You always want a sharp knife whenever you're cutting anything. You always want to cut pepper skin side down, and I'll show more of that in just a second. So I'm just going to cut the top off, and you want to pop this stem out. And this part is still totally usable. So we're going to chop that up too. I see a lot of people throw away the top of the pepper, but peppers are expensive. So you want to use as much of the pepper as you can. Then I'm just going to reach in, and I'm going to grab out that seed packet right there. And then I'm going to reach in and grab out some more of the membranes and the seeds. And then over my trash bowl, I'm just going to tap out more seeds. I'm going to put it on its uncut end, and I'm going to cut directly through the middle of the pepper. And then I'm going to cut the pepper in half again. So it's going to be in quarters. We only need half of the pepper, so I'm going to set the other half of the pepper over here. The next step is called filleting a pepper. So we want to get rid of the membrane. So I stick my knife right underneath the membrane and cut away from myself. And then I turn the pepper and cut away from myself again. So we've gotten rid of the membrane. I'm going to do it on the other one. Lucy's going to help me chop the pepper. The membrane, nothing's wrong with the membrane. It won't hurt you. It's just a different consistency than the rest of the pepper. And we want the same consistency throughout our food. So we're just gonna cut this into slices, and I'm cutting it skin side down. I'm not cutting it skin side up. When you cut it skin side down, it's easier on you and your knife. I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna cut this into strips. And then Lucy being, I'll cut that up afterwards.
Okay.
Lucy being very careful is going to help me dice this. All right. So you wanna hold here, I'll show you how to do this. You're gonna do the rocking motion of your knife. Go curl your fingers, there we go. Okay, there you go. And we want complete contact with that cutting board. Okay, there we go. All right, so since all of this, the pepper, the onion, and the garlic are all being added to the recipe at once, we can put it all into the same bowl. So be really careful with the blade right there.
That's really nice.
Okay. Got it? Scoop it up. Use the kind of side of your hand. There you go. Okay. All right, want to try that again?
Sure.
Okay. So the important thing is you want to have your hand kind of curled like this. So I call it the culinary clock. You have your hand kind of curled like that. And then you're using a rocking motion of your knife. Okay? We're going to get that guy in there. You okay? Mm-hmm. So forward, up, and back. Forward, up, and back. Okay, watch where you're cutting. Just like in sports, you always want to keep your eye on the blade.
Sports.
Like eye on the ball in sports, eye on the blade in cooking. Okay, I'll finish up those last little pieces. Thank you. Good job. Okay, so I get these last little pieces. And again, it's all going into the same bowl. And then I'll show you how to cut this. So I just kind of pretend it's all one piece. I cut it as if it were one piece, and then I turn it to the side and dice it. Okay, that's a lot of membrane right there, so I'll cut that off. You just dice it.
Like a normal one.
Just like a normal one. We're just pretending it's a normal one, because sometimes people get a little put off by, confused by the shape of it. All right, what's next? What do we have after the red pepper, Luce?
We have onion.
We have our onion. Okay, so an onion, we have to know the anatomy of our onion before we cut it. So we have our stem end and we have our root end. What end are we cutting off first?
The stem.
The stem end. That's right. We're going to cut the stem end off first. because the root holds it all together when we're cutting it. So we'll turn it on its flat side, cut directly through the middle of the root end, and we only need half of the onion. This is when we peel it. So you take that whole first layer off. And then, if you're right-handed, root end goes to your right. If you're left-handed, it goes to your left. I'm right-handed. So pull the cutting board towards the end of the counter. Let's see if I can. I'm just gonna leave it. Onion towards the end of the cutting board. I'm gonna make a series of horizontal cuts. Where are my fingers, Luce? Are they in the back or are they on the top?
They're on the top.
Why are they on the top?
Because you might accidentally cut yourself. They're in the back. That's
right. So we're just making a series of horizontal cuts going up to, but not through that root end. Turn it a quarter of a turn, and we're just gonna use the tip of our knife and go right up to that root end. Watching your fingers.
Make sure they don't get cut off.
That's right. We don't want to cut off our fingers. That'd be bad. Then we wouldn't want to cook anymore. Then we turn it back to its original position, make a final series of vertical cuts, and there's your diced onion. Right? Easy, easy. All right, so what do we have next, Lucy?
We have garlic.
Okay, so what's that called?
This is called...
Putting you on the spot. Is it a head of garlic or a clove of garlic?
This is a head of garlic, and then this is a clove of garlic.
That's right. So a lot of people, I've had people confuse this for a clove of garlic. It makes a big difference in your recipe. We all love garlic, but not that much. So I do this part a little bit differently. Using the side of your knife and the heel of your hand, with the blade facing away from you, you just give it a quick pop, and that cracks the skin, and the skin comes right off. So I've got a little bad spots on these that I'll just shave off. And these are kind of, that one's yuck. I'm not gonna use that one at all. All right, so this part, what we're gonna do is we are going to crush and mince our garlic at the same time. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna turn my blade over. So I'm using the back part of my blade. So you do not wanna put your hand right here because you'll cut yourself. So I haven't cut off either end. Cutting board towards the end of the counter, garlic clove towards the end of the cutting board, and I'm coming straight down on my garlic clove, like as if I was shaving the garlic clove, okay? And it's not a cutting motion, you're coming straight down, so straight down. Okay, and there we go. I'm mincing and crushing at the same time, and the crushing, again, is to release all the oil in the garlic, and it just boosts the flavor of the garlic. Did I lose that, my other screen?
Yeah.
Can you see it in that one?
No, the bird's eye just went away.
Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna check it. Oh, I'm low battery. Here, go get can you get that right here? Hold, please. These are the things that can happen here. All right, I'm gonna plug it in.
Do we have to take the plug out?
Yep, go ahead and take the plug out because I'm gonna have to plug it in from this side. All right, so hopefully it won't go away again. All right, so I'm just, while I have it going, I'm gonna turn my blade back over, and then I'm just going to do a little semicircle cut to get back through the garlic if you want to. Sure. Yeah, we need to plug it in. Oh, I don't know. Here, we're gonna scoot this over a little bit. Isn't this fun? Okay, so hopefully when I plug it in, it won't go away. Let me just scoot everything else over. Okay, so we should be okay now. All right, let's scoot some of this stuff over for me. Okay, back to the garlic. So once you do that thing with the back of your knife, you do not have to go back through it again if you are using fresh garlic. Don't try and use that old rubbery garlic that you've had sitting around forever. It won't work that way. You can scoot closer. If you have jarred garlic, minced jarred garlic, I don't want to know about it. Just throw it away. If you need, yeah, we have a question? I can see it up there. Can everybody see the bird's eye view still?
Oh, there we go.
Okay. if you need a shortcut that's even faster than this, Trader Joe's, and I don't get kickbacks or anything from Trader Joe's. I really do just like their products. They have frozen, already chopped garlic in little cubes, and it's not set in additives or anything like that. So I always recommend that if you don't want to chop your own garlic. All right, what do we have next?
We have
our San Marzano tomatoes. Can you go grab those out of the pantry?
Sure.
Thanks. So she's gonna go grab those out of the pantry, and then I'm gonna cut the basil, because that is the next ingredient. So this basil, I just replanted my garden, and this is from the basil. We're gonna do what's called a chiffonade cut with the basil. And that is when you stack the leaves on top of each other.
Can I open the can with that?
Sure. And you roll them into a nice tight cylinder. Okay, I'll do it. And then using a rocking motion of your knife, and you just cut it into really fine ribbons. So a much better presentation than just randomly chopped, and it smells so good. And these little leaves, we'll just kind of tear them up, because those are small enough that we can't even probably roll them. All right, let me get some, let me send, it didn't, I promise it didn't break. We'll send in the backups on this.
Wait, I got it.
I'll do it.
How do you do it?
I'll show you. All right, so lesson on can opening. Pop it and twist it.
Oh, can I do it?
I'm gonna just finish this up right now, okay? So I'm using San Marzano tomatoes. San Marzano tomatoes. Be careful. Let me do that. Thank you. Now, I'm just gonna put, you can take that to the recycle. Thank you. Okay. San Marzano tomatoes have a little bit more flavor to them, actually a lot more flavor to them. There's a San Marzano style tomato as well. It's not the same thing, but you can still use it. If you don't like chunks of tomato in your sauce, you can also use crushed tomatoes. All right, so we have everything ready for our sauce. We're doing salt and pepper also. I always use kosher salt because it dissolves faster in your food and you have less of a chance of oversalting. So I'm just gonna move this stuff over here, and we're gonna move my cooktop over here. Plug it in. So I am using, actually I'm gonna switch this wire. Actually, no, I'm not. All right, so I'm using an induction cooktop. It actually has a faster reaction time than gas. I'm gonna turn it on between medium high and high, because whenever you're sauteing, you want the pan hot, then you want it to be between medium high and high, pan hot, oil hot, then you add your ingredients. Pan hot, oil hot, add your ingredients. All right, so I want just enough oil. I don't do this at home. I have no feeling in my fingers. Is there a question?
Yes. Is this the pot we put olive oil?
Yes, we're putting our olive oil in this pot right now. So just enough to lightly coat the bottom of the pan. So I'm gonna swirl it around a little bit. We're gonna let it heat up. Again, pan hot, oil hot, add your ingredients. You know when your oil is hot enough when you tilt the pan and it's kind of thinned out and it ripples. So we're not quite there yet. So we'll give it another second. Kind of clean up a little bit over here. Can I have my trash bowl? Thank you. All right, there we go. All right, so I can smell it, and can you see it rippling? It's rippling. So Lucy's gonna add the chicken sausage or whatever Italian sausage you have is gonna be added to the pan right now.
Where's
here? Use this. That's to chop it up. There you go. You're gonna hear it hiss when it goes into the pan. Perfect. Now, I'll take that, and let me get our little spoon rest. Don't put that raw on heat down there. Where's our spoon rest? It's over here, right here. All right, so she's gonna put that down there, and then using a chopster, one of my favorite kitchen tools. I don't love gadgets, but I do love this one. She's just gonna kind of chop break it up. Now, what we're doing here is just browning the meat. We're not cooking the meat all the way through at this point. So just leave it there for just a second so it can brown. We're not cooking it through at this point because we're gonna add in the vegetables. The meat will cook further, and then when we add in the tomatoes, we're actually gonna simmer the sauce. Okay. Nope, that's good. You can do it a little bit more. Go in there a little bit more. Okay. There you go. All right, now you can put it in this thing. All right, now I'm gonna get in there with the spatula. And with chicken, because this is chicken sausage, I use a little bit more olive oil than you would need with maybe like a pork sausage because there's not as much fat in it. And the reason I'm browning this is because I'm bringing out all the natural sugars in the meat and creating that nice flavorful brown on it. So it adds a big depth of flavor in there. So you don't want to skip that part. That's why you sear meat too. So we're just gonna stir this around a little bit more. Get it a little bit more browned. Okay. I'm gonna break up the meat some more as well. If you didn't have, I can't remember if I said this already, but if you don't have the chicken sausage or any Italian sausage, you can use any ground meat. You would just want to add a little bit more seasoning in there. So maybe like a tablespoon of dried Italian seasoning, or you can add a handful of fresh herbs, whatever you wanted. All right, Luce, ready to add in the garlic, the onion, and the peppers are all going in right now. Let's see that.
Sorry, we're hiding this from you.
There you go. Now, here's the big reveal. There they all are, right there. I'm going to turn this up to a little bit. Now, so we just want these veggies to soften up a little bit because they are going to continue to cook when the sauce is simmering. So we'll just wait a minute. Remember when I had a flying tomato? I mean onion, that's not a tomato. We're not even using tomato. Oh yeah, we are. Second class. My brain's going haywire. All right. Ooh, how's it smell? It smells really good. If you guys are cooking along at home, I am sure it is starting to smell good. Okay. All right, I think those are softened enough to pour our tomatoes in. Yep. I'm gonna back up since I'm wearing white.
I'm wearing white too.
Well, yours is an apron.
I'm gonna go wash this out.
Okay, thank you. All right, so see how these are full tomatoes. So with your spatula or whatever you're using to stir, you want to break them up. You don't want big, huge chunks of these. And I am not going to season this with salt and pepper right now because it's going to simmer for a little bit, and we don't want to concentrate the seasoning. So we could add the perfect amount of salt right now, and after it's simmered for 20 minutes, it will taste too salty because the salt will concentrate. Okay? All right, so I'm going to get this as chopped up as I can. Stirring it around. And I'm going to turn it up to high right now because I'm going to bring it to a boil. And as soon as it hits a boil, what am I going to do then? We don't add that in.
As soon as it hits a boil, you're going to turn it off.
I'm going to turn it down.
Turn it down.
I'll turn it down to a simmer. So we want it to hit a boil. What's a boil, Lucy? Where do I need to see the bubbles?
In the middle.
In the middle. So we definitely want to see it's creeping up, it's creeping up. We want it to boil not just on the sides, but we want to see it bubbling in this area too. So that's pretty good. It's spitting on me. So now I'm going to turn it down to about medium low. And we are going to set this aside and let it simmer for as long as we have. So it could be, you know, 15 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, just depending. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. And now we are gonna do our filling. So I'm gonna get my bowl right here. And we'll scoot some of this stuff over. All right, so for the filling, we have whole milk ricotta. That's mozzarella. Whole milk ricotta right here. And I'm gonna guesstimate about a cup from here. And I usually use whole everything. So I cook with whole milk, I cook with whole yogurt, I use whole cheeses. The lower in fat you go, the higher the water content, the higher the sugar content, and with flavor. So I'd rather have full flavor and eat less than compromise the flavor.
Next is pesto.
All right, so now we have pesto. I'm using store-bought pesto. So the amount of salt you put in is going to depend on what pesto you're using. Last round I did that we made for our family, it was fresh spinach pesto. And that was also good. It was a different flavor because this is basil pesto. So about a quarter cup of this. That can go away.
Should I wash it out and put it in recycling?
Yes, thank you. Next we have mascarpone. It's not mascarpone, it's mascarpone. So I am on a mission to make sure that everybody pronounces that correctly. So mascarpone. So this is softened, it doesn't have to be, but this is gonna be about a quarter cup in here. If you cannot find mascarpone, you can leave it out actually and just use a little bit more ricotta, or you can use cream cheese. So cream cheese is just gonna be a little tangier. Mascarpone is like an Italian cream cheese, but it doesn't have that tang that our cream cheese has to it. So I'm gonna mush this, or I'm gonna first kind of mush down on the mascarpone. Make sure that it gets blended in really well. I'm gonna smear it around. And now I'm gonna mix it all together. Making sure to get all those flavors in there. Now you can put anything in your filling. You can put fresh herbs in there. You could put lemon zest in there. You could add the meat into this. You can add like a little prosciutto into here if you're not doing like a meat sauce. Or you can double meat it up, whatever. See, I have someone to laugh at my jokes. All right, so for the salt, I'm probably first we're gonna taste it, because we need to always taste for seasoning. Seasoning is the most important part of any dish, and it's the part that people leave out the most often. So I'm using a 2-spoon tasting method, so I can use the same spoon for all my tasting. Okay, that's pretty good, but I'm gonna add maybe like
salt.
Yeah, I'm adding about a quarter teaspoon of salt. Mix it up again. Ladies first, just kidding. Okay. Can you tell the difference?
Yep.
What's the difference?
It tastes brighter.
Yeah, it tastes brighter. It boosts the flavor of your food. So when we season, we don't want our food to taste salty. We just want to brighten the flavor of our food. Okay, so now I'm going to scoot this out of the way, and we are going to grate our cheese. I'm going to turn my sauce up because it's not really serving very well.
Grating cheese is not for kids.
Yeah, grating cheese is not for kids. I'm going to get, really quickly, I'm going to clean this area here. It's driving me crazy, so I'm going to get a sponge really quickly.
It tastes really good.
Thank you. Okay.
We need this too.
We'll need it in a minute, yeah. So I've got this all cleaned off.
And here's the mozzarella.
That's one of the mozzarella. So here, I'm putting this on parchment. All right, so my grater bites. So I don't let Lucy use the grater. And actually when I have people in class grating cheese, I just ask them to be very careful. This is the number one cause of cuts in my kitchen. So I'm using mozzarella. I don't like to get pre-shredded cheese. When you get pre-shredded, pre-grated, pre-crumbled cheese, it comes with additives that keep it from clumping. That also inhibits melting, and it takes away from the flavor of the cheese. So this is a little bit less than, this is probably half a cup. So I have some other mozzarella over here that I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to turn that back. Let's see. I'm actually doing temperature. All right. So a lot of people hate cleaning their graters. I'm just going to give you a tip. Rinse it off with cold water first. Get all the cheese out of there with cold water, and then give it a good wash with soap and hot water. If you start washing it with hot water, all the cheese melts in there, and it's just a lot harder to clean it out. So I start with cold water and then move on to hot water. All right, so I accidentally got the pre-sliced mozzarella, which is fine. I am just gonna tear it up into chunks and kind of place it around. So I'll have the shredded and the like chunks of the mozzarella. All right, so now it's time to, Lucy, are you ready? All right, grab another spoon because we only have one right there. We are gonna fill our shells. I'm gonna set this over here. All right, so I'm gonna rinse my hands. I'm gonna get a plate because I wanna have the sauce. I'm gonna have the sauce in the bottom of the pan and it's not ready yet. Actually, let me get out my dish. Hold on. We'll just squash them in there. So here's our shells. So we're gonna fill them and put them onto this plate. Now, some of your shells might look like this. Like they just, when they boil, they came out of the box like that. We can usually kind of put them back together. Some of them are gonna be ripped, which is totally fine. We can still, is there a question?
Yeah. Did you add the mozzarella filling?
No, so the question was, did I add mozzarella to the filling? Or
mozzarella filling.
Okay, so the question was, did I add the mozzarella filling? The mozzarella is going on top of everything. It doesn't go inside. It's going on top of everything. The Ricotta-Mascarpone pesto is what's going inside of here. So I am going to show you how to do that. So we have our mozzarella setting to the side, ready to go on top. And Lucy and I are going to fill these shells. So you have the shell, and it has, you can go ahead and get started. So you have the shell, and it's like a little mouth. You're gonna open it up and put about a tablespoon or so of the filling in, and then I'm gonna kind of use the bottom lip of the shell to scrape off the filling from the spoon, okay? So it just kind of, and it sits closed, so you don't have to worry about filling it. This one's like a little bit stuck, but I'll open it up and just be gentle with them.
And like squish them together too, so they all fit.
Yeah, they're gonna get squished. This, my sauce is like, can't decide if it wants to boil or simmer. So see how ragged this one is? That's okay. It's still gonna taste good. So we're just gonna do the best we can with it. So with 6 ounces of shells, you should, it should be about 20 or so shells, like 20, 22 shells. And for us, we ate them for 2 nighs. It just depends on how many shells you eat, especially if you're eating it with like a side salad or a vegetable or something. So this one doesn't want to close all the way, but I'm just kind of, I'm gonna force it. All right, here's one that came out flat. You can just reshape it.
They can also get kind of stuck too and rip, so just be careful.
Yeah, that's right. Just be careful. Okay, so we're getting there. This is where we get into our food meditation zone. Any more questions? Just...
It popped up on your screen too.
I know, but sometimes I miss the beeping, the like flashing.
Well,
All right, so let's see. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Let's see if we can get another 5 out of that filling. So if you don't have shells, if you had a hard time finding shells, or you couldn't find like a stuffable pasta, I'll tell you how you can assemble this with just regular pasta. Okay. All right, get a couple more out of there. Oops. There we go.
This one's not close.
I'm going to turn my sauce off. And then I think we have enough for one more. That one doesn't want to close. All right, I'll do one more. And then if you can take the pan, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. Okay. All right, so this is going to go back here. Here's my pasta. I'm going to get this dish for the shells. And I need to trim it so I can put my, actually first let's taste the sauce and season it. All right, we need 2 more spoons for tasting, Lucy.
How about our last spoons?
I know we have been through a lot of spoons, a lot of tasting today. I'm going to add my basil to the sauce now. Okay, and I am going to start with, because I know this is going to need, can I have the salt, please? Sure, thank you. Last one, I over salted it a little bit, so I'm going to start with about maybe just less than half of a teaspoon. So that's where we'll start. So last one I just put in 1 teaspoon like right out of the gates, and it was a little over salted. Oh, can you taste this? And I've got to get something out of the fridge. Actually, I'm going to put something in the oven.
Okay.
All right, using the 2-spoon tasting method.
The spatula thing.
Making sure not to touch. Hot? Are you okay? Oh my gosh, I wish you burned the roof. It was like eating pizza right out of the box. All right.
Really good though.
I'm gonna add just a little bit more salt.
On my tongue.
You ever been to my cooking classes in person? I go around and try and taste everybody's food before it's served. And I'm always sneaking more salt in. All right, I think that's good. I think that was maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of a teaspoon. There you go. Blow on it first, but not over this. Here, turn around and blow on that. Okay. So I'm gonna add actually a little ground black pepper in there.
Should I put some sink?
Yes, please, thank you. We're done with our tasting spoons.
And some salt.
Done with that. Okay, so now I'm gonna move this forward. And Lucy, do you have the ladle? Will you grab the ladle? So we're gonna get a ladle and we're gonna put 1/2 of the sauce in the bottom. It's right there, the ladle. The soup thing that you use to scoop the sauce. It's on the drying rack. There you go. Thanks. All right, so do you want to do this? So scoop 1/2 the sauce into there. It's okay. Let's do it. There you go. We'll spread it out after you get it all in there. Try not to plop it. It's hot. I don't want it to splatter and burn you. A little bit more. A little bit more. So this is probably smaller than an 8x8, but I try not to splatter it because it could burn you. All right, so I'm just gonna shove the shells in here, hoping that I get what? It's okay. Put it on your apron. That's what aprons are for.
I don't like getting them dirty.
Well, we have plenty. Wash them. All right. Shove these guys tight, tight, tight. So everything's all cooked in here, so we're really just looking to heat it up. All right, so
best we can get.
Yeah, best we can do. Then we're gonna put the rest of the sauce on top of this. And then we're gonna put
the cheese.
Yep, so you wanna get ready, get your cheese arsenal ready. And you can actually do mozzarella and like fresh parm or grated parm or Asiago, Romano. All right, so start sprinkling that on top. Okay, and then I'm gonna put these little pieces of the sliced mozzarella because that'll look pretty when it's all melted.
It's really melting now.
It's melting because the sauce is hot. So we'll just go around. There, that's okay. All right, I think that's good with. All right, now you put the rest of yours. I'm gonna rinse my hands off. Okay. And then I'm gonna move the sauce.
Okay,
Sinking down.
Sinking down.
Okay. So then take that to the trash. Now this will go into the oven. So that's gonna go in the oven at 350 degrees until the sauce is bubbling and the cheese is melted. The cheese may or may not be golden brown, but let me just clean this off really quickly. We have one that we're gonna show you how it should look.
Is it in the oven still?
It is in the oven. I'm gonna grab it.
Slippery there. Oh, it looks really good.
Okay, so this is in an 8x8, so it fit a little bit better in there. So this is how it should look, all nice and melty. And you can garnish it with just ripped up or chiffonade basil. And let me get a spoon and I'll show you how yummy and melty it is. So you get a spoon and just kind of figure out where one ends. And that's about 3 right there.
How long in the oven?
Oh, probably about 15 minutes or so. But what you're really looking for are the visual cues. So bubbly sauce and melted cheese.
I missed how long in the oven Foster was talking over you.
Sorry, about 15 minutes in the oven. But you really want to see the sauce kind of bubbling on the sides, not in the middle, but just kind of bubbling around the sides, and the cheese to be nice and melted. All right, so if you didn't have stuffed or jumbo shells, the way that you would assemble this, same thing. The sauce, pasta, whatever it is, penne, ziti. If you're using spaghetti, you want to break it up into smaller pieces before you boil it. The cheese on top of that, then the second half of the sauce on top of that, and then the mozzarella on top of that. So sauce, and this is if you do not have jumbo shells or a stuffable pasta. Sauce, pasta,
more
ricotta, sauce, pasta, ricotta, sauce, mozzarella. Yeah, there we go. You got it. Third time's the charm. Are there any other, so you can serve this with the side salad we had it the other night with the side salad. You can serve it with vegetables. We have another question, I think.
What is the oven temperature?
The oven temperature is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You could do 375. It would actually brown the cheese a little bit more. But the good thing is everything in here is already cooked. So what we're looking for is it to be heated and the cheese melted. Any other questions?
Quick questions.
Well, we want to thank you guys for joining us, and thank you so much for supporting these Zoom cooking classes. It means a lot for me to be able to still continue to teach, and then to be able to, as I hit her in the head, to be able to do it with Lucy is a really big treat for me. We're still negotiating her pay, but no comments from the peanut gallery, because last class had some
High ones.
Yeah, some really high suggestions, and it put me in between a rock and a hard place with my contract worker here. I think we have another question, but I do have 2 more classes posted for tomorrow. What was the question?
That was wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I have 2 more classes posted for tomorrow. I'm going to be posting more classes for next week, hopefully by tonight. I'm going to do a kids baking class, well, a parent-child baking class, hopefully next Saturday. And I'm posting recipes every day on Instagram, so Whisked Away AZ. If you're not following, I would love it if you would. Try to be as useful as possible. I really appreciate also all of the feedback. This is all new territory for me, so the feedback is so valuable in providing the best possible experience for all of you. So
you're welcome.
So and please spread the word. People can take these from anywhere, so please spread the word and get your friends on. It's kind of fun to private chat during it, as long as you're saying nice things about us. But if you have any questions, email me, info@whiskedaway.net. I will be sending the video to you tomorrow. Enjoy your stuffed shells, and hopefully we will see you again. Thank you.
Bye.